Hello people, I'm Jaby. Koay. Joining us is ACHARA KIRK.
Hello.
We're gonna talk about American Made, the Tom Cruise film that just came out. If you guys haven't seen it yet, don't worry, we're not gonna go into any spoilers, but we are gonna keep this review short because I'm sure most people who watch this are just trying to find out whether or not they should watch it. You should watch it. This is a good movie. I liked it a lot. I thought the story was great, even though it was taking liberties with reality. Not in terms of like how the film conducted itself, but just in terms of the true story. There were some liberties taken, but overall it made for a very compelling story. For me, the message was clear of what it was trying to communicate. I talked to Ricky Elliott. For those of you who don't know who Ricky Elliott is, he is a friend of mine who helped me with Way of the Saber, Raging Bullish, and Dragon Ball J. He said that when he watched it, he enjoyed it, but he didn't feel like the message was strong enough for your average audience. I would disagree with that, but I wanted to include that opinion anyway, just because I feel like it's important to state that. Because there is a message that the film is trying to communicate with regards to politics, I would say. That's the most neutral way to put it.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, that aside, I thought that the story was good. Again, I thought Tom Cruise's acting was good, even though his accent was a little spotty sometimes. The ancillary supporting casts, they were great as well. I liked all of the actors chosen, except for the guy who represented the CIA.
Domhnall Gleeson?
Yeah.
Really?
The one with the beard.
You didn't like him?
He was the only one that was like, he's all right. There was just something about him that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way.
Was
I don't
it
know
just
why.
the character or the acting, though?
It was more the acting.
Oh, okay.
It was more the acting that bothered me. It may have just been specific choices. I'm not sure. He was the only one that was like, ugh, I wish that they had chosen a different guy for that role. But maybe like him rubbing me the wrong way was the point.
That's kind of how I felt about him. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh, he just makes me feel really uncomfortable.
A fun fact, Doug Liman, the director, is actually tied to this story. So that kind of informs you like the bias that goes on in the film, which is fine. Like it's a perfectly fine way to go. It's just interesting that they made Tom Cruise's character so likable considering what his character does in the movie. The impact that his character, or this guy, had in, you know, the American political landscape and the drug scene in the States and all that, like he had a strong impact, a strong influence on that. Not meaning to, like, he was looking out for himself and his family.
Well, yeah, in the end, you kind of come away with that feeling of, well, I mean, he was just a family guy. He
Right.
was just trying to take care of his family. And when he was presented with an opportunity, he was like, okay, since, you know, other things weren't panning out.
Irrespective of how you feel about him, I think the film wants you to examine how you feel about the American government. At the end of it, that's really what it wants you to think about, even though that part's not so much in your face. It's more from Tom Cruise's perspective, like, for most of the movie. But I think the film really, or the director really wants you to think about that and the neglect and the incompetence on the part of the American government. That's what they want you to really consider when after you're done watching this. And that's what I came away with thinking about. So I'm gonna leave it at that, because I feel like if I get too detailed, I'm gonna get into spoilers.
Yeah.
So the only thing I did not like about this, I'm not sure if I said it already, was the way it was shot. The way it was shot was, it felt like some amateur director, like, the funniest thing is it has all the makings of a good movie, but then the way it was shot was just like, the framing was just weird sometimes. And I think that what Doug Liman was going for was a very raw, you know, kind of handheld documentary type feel. But I think it went too far in that direction, because sometimes you couldn't even see the actor's face. You kind of inferred what was going on. But it's like, it's a visual medium. Let me see what's going on. Stop trying to like get too artistic with it. Like I wanted him to dial that back a little bit, you know?
For me, it was that, and also there was quite a bit of shakiness in it, which kind of made me think like, no, if I wanted to watch a student film, I could do that.
Yeah. But, you know, to Doug Liman's credit, he got good performances out of pretty much all the actors. The only thing, like I said, that was questionable was Tom Cruise's accent. Like, I didn't know until 1/3 of the way into the movie that he was speaking with a southern drawl.
Yeah, you literally turned to me and you were like, wait, he's supposed to be from Louisiana? What?
Yeah. They do a good job of making you kind of empathize for Tom Cruise's character in the movie. Even though what he's doing is rather questionable, you end up feeling for him and you kind of understand where he's coming from.
And you root for him.
And you do root for him in the movie. It also helps that Tom Cruise is just a likable guy.
He's charismatic anyway.
Yeah, but I was reading about this, the true story, the real guy, and apparently he was a very charismatic guy. He was a very likable person. In fact, he apparently stole a plane from someone, and that person whom he stole the plane from still liked him anyway. So that's how likable he was as a guy. So that's interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff, but after you watch the movie, there's a lot of interesting stuff to read about like the real life version and what's true and what's not true, what's been confirmed versus what hasn't.
Right.
It's a lot of interesting details dealing with some recent American history, which I enjoyed reading, and I recommend that to you guys as well. Just like a quick Google search, you'll find what I'm talking about. Anyways, I think that pretty much conveys our general feeling about the movie. It's got a 7.3 on IMDb, which I would disagree with. I would give it at least an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. Personally, I like the movie, quite a bit.
I think it's a really interesting story. If you're looking for like just something that's kind of out of the ordinary and it's just very different from a lot of the stuff that's out there right now, I would definitely recommend watching this film.
You guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films. And if you are interested in helping to support the channel, please go to patreon.com/JabyKoay. There are different tiers with rewards there waiting for you if you're interested in that stuff. Check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media because she is desperate for attention.
Yes, I am.
I'm just joking. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.